share?
Yes, please.
So, okay. As we discussed, we are going to start with linear programming problem only, which is short form of it is LPP. So, in linear programming problem, what happens is we solve some practical situations where we would have one objective and few constraints, as you must have felt it yesterday's class. We will see a lot of examples in that. That's not a problem, and we'll directly move into the question and we'll solve things together. Not a problem. So as I said, when we talk about there is objective, there are constraints. Now how to solve, there are different methods of solving LPP problem, but only thing applicable for us is a graphical method. So graphical method is one of the simplest methods for solving LPP, by the way. And while doing that, there are some certain steps that we have to follow. That's all. Now, one of the tricky parts is to understand the situation and find out our objectives and constraints accordingly. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So one of the, as I said, one of the trickiest parts is to find out the exact objectives and constraints, because it gets very messy the way the question is put. So we have to be very clear while we are reading the question, and we have to be very attentive while reading the question. Now again, we'll be going through the questions and we'll be setting up those objectives and constraints separately, and we'll practice that one by one. Not a problem. Now after that, after we do that, there is a certain another process that we're going to do. That's a separate thing. As and when we'll be solving, I'll take it up. Not a problem. So suppose this is some small example of something like this is the objective function. So something is our objective. We want to minimize something or we want to maximize something, and these are the constraints. Now, if I give a very small example, suppose a very small example, not complicated at all. Suppose you want to keep your health at optimum level, right? You don't want your health to be bad. So that is your objective. Now, what are the constraints? You have limited amount of resources with you, like how much of financial resources you have, how much of available calories that you have, the food that you have around you. So that is one of the constraints. A very simple example. Now, the LPP, linear programming, helps us in identifying exact amount of variables such that our objective function will be achieved. Objective will be achieved. So that's the beauty of it. How to do it, we'll see. Not a problem. Now, now what happens is, let me go directly into a question. 1 second. Yes. So suppose this is a question. I'm directly going to the question instead of discussing anything. I'll be telling the steps. I think most of you must be remembering also, but either way, I'll be repeating it. Not a problem. The question reads: an airline.
So basically, question itself will say कि we have to solve this problem by LPP, right? We don't need to identify and apply the method.
Yes. So even if it doesn't know, so structure of the question. So suppose in the question itself, nowhere it is written as linear programming or linear programming problem. But from the structure of the question itself, you should be able to figure out that LPP is going to be used here. And this is a one of a kind question only. No other type of question will be similar to this. So as you can see, it's very practical. Numbers are there, and there is something. Either there will be a profit or a cost, then there will be some constraints, some bottlenecks, right? Wherever you have a situation like that, assume it that this is a linear programming problem only. In this question, if you look at it, nowhere it is written from this place to the here, nowhere it is written that it is a linear programming problem question, right? Now, if they don't give the first line, you have to by yourself figure out that this is actually a linear programming problem only. Yes? Yeah. Now, once you practice a few questions, so you'll be automatically be able to connect back that this question was from linear programming. that won't be a problem. Okay, so the question reads, let's be very attentive while reading the question, because that is very important. As I said, the what happens is the solution lies in the first reading itself. So if you are able to find out the objective and the constraints from the question, the paragraph, then your question is done, because rest of it is just very manual task, whatever you have to do. Okay, now let's do it. An airline offers coach and first class tickets. For the airline to be profitable, it must sell a minimum of 25 first class tickets. Let's figure out, is this objective or is this a constraint? Can somebody tell me? It must sell a minimum of 25 first class tickets. Is this an objective or is this a constraint?
Constraint.
This is a constraint. Everybody agrees. Is it doubtful to anybody?
No, Dheeraj. But the thing is, until and unless we learn, like read or the last sentence, it's like not good to say it's a constraint, right?
No, it is a constraint actually. The moment you see a minimum and maximum, no, it is definitely a constraint, because you can never do less than 25, isn't it?
Okay, constraint means a condition, right?
Constraint is a bottleneck, a common understanding. So wherever there is a limit, that is a constraint, right?
Okay.
Right? So wherever you are being said that you cannot do more than this or less than this, that is a constraint. Automatically that happens.
A kind of a rule. A kind of a rule, like you have to follow this, right?
Yes, for sure. This is common understanding. Yes, you can say it's a rule only. Yeah. So as I said, you cannot do less than 25, because in the question itself it's saying minimum of 25. By that only you should be able to connect that this is a constraint. Okay. Second, it says and a minimum of 40 coach tickets. Is this an objective? Is this a constraint? Can somebody tell?
Again constraint.
Again constraint. Again the same thing. You cannot do less than 40 coach tickets. So it's a constraint. The company makes a profit of $225 for each coach ticket and $200 for each first class tickets. Now, when they say profit, here they don't say anything else. How much of profit you have to make, minimum, maximum, nothing. So automatically you should be able to figure out that this is actually objective, right? Make sense? Which we will actually get a clarity about in the last sentence also, as Sami was mentioning. But from reading the question itself, from the line only, you should be able to figure out this is actually not a constraint. If it is not a constraint, it must be objective, right? So moving forward, at most, the plane has a capacity of 150 travelers. Is this objective? Is this a constraint? Can somebody tell?
It's a constraint again, right?
Constraint again, absolutely. So it is saying you cannot have more than 150 travelers, isn't it? So you have to read that from the line. Am I right, everybody? Any doubts?
No, yes, we are good.
Perfect. So it is again another constraint. How many of each ticket should be sold in order to maximize profit? The moment you see maximize profits, so the objective is to maximize the profits, which is again coming to that sentence where we were reading profit of $225 for each coach ticket and $200 for each first class ticket. Let's just put this in a Excel format. Give me 1 second. I think I'm sharing just one screen.
Midterm is anyhow open book, so it's better to solve it in Excel only directly, correct?
I'm not sure about it as of now, because there is a bit of confusion about.
But anyway, we can use Excel later. We can put it in a note, right? Whatever is the.
Yes. Absolutely. So we can do that. So can you see my screen? Yes. Excel sheet, you can see.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now let me just share. So when I change the window to the PDF, can you see the PDF or can you see the Excel only?
I'm seeing the Excel. Only.
So let me just unshare and share my window only. Give me 1 second.
Sure. I think you need to share the desktop.
I did. Now you'll be able to see my PDF only, right?
Yeah.
And when I change, you must be able to see my Excel also.
Correct. Yeah.
Perfect. Now, as I was saying, let's just quickly try to sum the information that we have in the question. Yes. And put it up in the Excel sheet. Now, Suppose we have one thing called coach ticket. Yes, coach ticket. Another one is called first class ticket. Yes. Can somebody tell me what was the profit for each of the tickets? You have the information.
No,
right
but there was a different sequence, now something like first we have to identify the decision variable, right?
No, we are not going there. We're just putting up the information that is there in the question in a structural
Okay, so
format.
we are creating a table first.
That's all. Yes. So that again, we don't have to go into the paragraph and all. That becomes actually very easy when we do that. So sir was also doing in the class, if you remember. Now, what I'm asking is, what was the profit given for coach ticket? What was the profit given for first class ticket? Can somebody remember?
Profit is 225 for coach and
Perfect.
then 200 for first class.
Perfect. Okay. Now, one more thing is first class tickets. Sorry, my bad. So, what was the minimum amount of coach tickets, and what was the minimum amount of first class tickets?
25 for first
age,
class.
25
for first class. 40 for
coach. 40 for
no,
coach.
you had right other way.
Is it?
Yeah, correct. So 40 for coaches and then 25 for first class, no?
Yeah, that's what you have right other.
You're right. I have to write all the way out. You're right. So minimum is 25 for first class and this one for yes, that is correct. Now one more constraint is there, that is the plane capacity, isn't it? So plane capacity total is how much?
150.
So if I say coach capacity, coach tickets is suppose X1 and first class tickets
X2.
is X2. What is
X1 plus X2 is equal to 150?
Perfect. Does that make sense, everybody? Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty much easy, right? So X1 plus X2 should be less than equal to
150.
150. Yes. Now, the other two that we wrote, that is minimum and minimum, if we convert that into a mathematical operation, how would you put it? As we have already
if we are putting only 150, then it is wrong, right? Because it can be less also.
I said less than equal to 150, right? You can't say
correct. But actually I went ahead only for equal. I did not put less than. So that's wrong, right?
That's wrong. You should not put equal. Sorry, just equal you should not put. It can be less than equal. Yes. So the individual ones, which was 40 and 25, if we convert that into mathematical operation, how would we put it? Now,
so let's say
greater than equal to 40. X2 should be
so yes, X1 is greater than equal to 40. You are right. And similarly, X2 should be greater than equal to 25. Now, why not less than equal to?
Because minimum we have to have 40.
Yes, it cannot be less than 40. It cannot be less than 25. Right? It makes sense, right? I mean, there is no confusion on that. Pretty much simple. So as I was saying, putting up these conditions, the constraints, is a trickiest part. If you understand this very well, it becomes very easy to solve the question going forward. Because whatever we will do after this, this will be, I'm telling you, very simple. There is nothing in that. Once you remember that those steps, what needs to be done, those are just mathematical calculations. That's all, or graphical presentation of something. Now, these are the constraint functions. What is the objective?
Maximum profit.
So if we have profit of 225 rupees per ticket and 200 per ticket, what is the total amount of profit? Can you tell?
425.
Are you sure?
And no, how come?
Sorry, 225 into 40 plus 200 into 25.
That is incorrect. Just think about it once more.
X1, X2, na? 225 X1 plus 200 X2 is equal to whatever.
So this is ticket sold, okay? This is ticket sold. Yes, this is minimum. This is actual ticket sold is X1 and X2. Now tell me, Sami, what should be it? What is the total profit?
Total profit X1 plus X2 equals to. I'm still like not getting Dheeraj, what
So
Not a
exactly.
basically, we need to find out this. So this is the objective, na, Sami. So basically, we total what will be the total from coach ticket 225 multiplied by total number of tickets sold, right? So total number of tickets sold is just to identify. We need to identify that is X1, right? 225 X1, correct?
Yes, yes.
No, the minimum that I got it, like X1 and X2 are the variables which we need to calculate. My question is, so the profit per ticket is 225 for coach category, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
minimum like 40 seats has to be occupied. Sorry, means sold, right? Maximum we don't know how much, but we need to get the profit as 225. That is what they are saying.
No. 225 is the profit per ticket.
Correct, per ticket. So
And we need to find a combination to find a maximum profit.
which is X1 plus X2.
Yeah, so X1 ka value and X2 ka value we have to find so that we can gain maximum profit.
Got it, got it. I think Dheeraj, you can proceed. Then I'll
Yes.
come to the
Yes.
next.
Let me bring in that information. Where you are stuck, I got it. So just focus on these two informations as of now. Okay. Just this line and this line. Profit per ticket is how much for coach ticket? 225, right?
Correct.
Tickets sold is how much? X1. X1 number of tickets are sold. What is the profit from coach tickets?
For X1, we need to calculate like the 40 into 225 minimum value we need to calculate first.
No. Again, I'll tell you something. Okay. Suppose you are selling dosa. Yes. Suppose you make profit of 10 rupees per dosa. Yes. Suppose you sold 50 dosas in a day. Yes. Now, how much of profit you made?
50 into 10.
50 into 10, that is 500. Suppose normally in a trend, you know, at a minimum every day you sell 25 dosas for sure. On an average, you know that on an average you sell 25 dosas. But on today you have sold 50. You know that. Yes. So what is your profit? 25 into 10 or 50 into 10?
25 into 10.
What is your exact profit for today?
250.
No.
So minimum we have to exclude, right?
No, but why?
That is like
But
minimum.
why? No, imagine you are selling something, selling dosa. You sold 50 dosas today. You are making profit of 10 rupees per dosa. Still, you will say 250 profit on the end of the day.
Means today I am earning 250. Tomorrow might be 500. So it may vary like that.
No. I'm forgetting about tomorrow. I'm asking you what profit did you make today? That's all.
500.
500, right? It doesn't matter how much of minimum you make, right? When you are figuring out what is your total profit, it doesn't matter how much of minimum you make. Makes sense, right?
Yes.
So now, now that we know our ticket sold is X1 and our profit per ticket is 225, what is our total profit from coach ticket?
X1 into 225.
Perfect. 225 X1. Similarly, from first class ticket is how much?
200 into X2.
200 into X2. What is your total profit for the whole thing?
225 X1 plus 200 into X2.
Perfect. Now 200 X2. Now question very clearly says that we have to maximize profit. So this is profit, right? This is profit equals this. And normally with every objective function, this is objective function, we write Z. Z stands for the objective variable. Yes. Every time, whether it's minimization or maximization, you always write Z. So profit, that is Z, is equal to 225 X1 plus 200 X2. And if it is a maximization, you say maximize profit. So this is the structure of writing. If it would have been minimization problem, you would have written minimize whatever cost or something. Z is equal to this equation. Make sense? Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is our objective function and these are our constraint functions. Now, how to solve this? number one thing is you do convert the constraint functions into linear equations. How do you do that? Just forget about the less than equal to or more than equal to. What I said, the first step is convert the constraint functions into linear equations. What will be the linear equation for this one? Can you tell? Just what I told was just exclude the more than equal to or less than equal to. Yes, x1.
x1 equal to 40.
Perfect. And the second one will be
25.
25. Third one will be?
Third one will be x1 plus x2 equal to 150.
Right, perfect. Yes.
Dheeraj, if you don't mind, can you just copy paste this in the third row number 20, so and write it as step 3, so that it will be like easy for everyone to understand, right?
Hey, whoever is watching video, they can figure out. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Yeah. I'm not going there. It's okay. It's all right. So this is the step. Next step, as I said, convert the constraint functions into linear equations. Now, once we have done that, we have to plot all those equations in a graph. Yes, we have to plot all those equations in a graph. I hope it is there. Not sure though. Yes, it is there. No, it is not there. Okay, not a problem. If you put this in a graph,
it's there, na? This triangle only, na? Okay, marking is not there.
It is not there actually. So you have 25 and 40 are not there. Makes sense, right? So the triangle is actually correct. You're right, but the other two lines are not put. So I wanted to put that first. Okay, let me figure out how to put it. Yes, I can do it. Not a problem. We can bring out the graphs in Excel also. So in order to put graph, what you need to do? Always follow this process. Okay, I'll do what Sami said now. For us also. How do you put up graph? Always have a box pulled up. Yes, always have a box pulled up. For what? For the coordinates. Yes, always follow this practice so that you won't get confused. Every time any question that you are doing, you do this. For the first variable is x1, second variable is x2, and I'll copy that for the rest of the equations. Yes. So let me ask you, if x1 is, sorry, if x2 is 0, what is x1? 40. Whatever value you take for x2, that is, suppose I take 40 only, it will always be 40 only, right? It's a straight line. Make sense? So randomly, I took two sets of coordinates. Yes. Similarly,
wait. Please. How come 40, 40?
Okay, not a problem. So x1 is always 40. The equation says x1 is 40, right? So, yes. So no matter what value you take for x2, is x1 going to change?
No.
No, right? So whether you take 0 for x2, it will be 40. Whether you take 40 for x2, that will also be 40. Whether you take 100 for x2, that will also be 40. Make sense?
But why do we need other value?
Other value we need to plot a particular equation in the graph. Are you getting my point?
But that is fine, no? But that we already got. That we already got now. 40, 0 is 1, right? We need only two values, right?
No. I said two sets of coordinates. So this is one coordinate, right? When you say 0, 40, I'll show you in the graph. That will be giving you 1 point, right? 0 and 40 will be giving you 1 point. You need another point to join those in order to draw the line. Are you getting my point?
Okay, so that is one single dot only. These are the two dots, and two dots will become a straight line.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. So similarly,
so
why 40 only? We can put anything right here.
Randomly I put. You can put 100 or not a problem. Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah. So for any linear equation, you have to remember, in order to draw the graph, you need two sets of coordinates. Yeah. So have this box pulled up every time that you are solving a LPP problem. For those constraint equations, you have x1 and x2 and write down those coordinates. It really helps you a lot while solving the question going forward. Yes.
Actually, this was my pain area. I didn't understand how to plot the graph.
Okay. Sami, go ahead. No? You're saying something.
Yeah, column E is like a starting point and column F is the end point, right? While drawing the graph.
Column E is the starting point. Column A. You can say that. Yes, yes. There is no starting point or end point per se, right? This is a line, right? And every point in the line would be representing the equation. That's all. There is no start point. There is no end point. So yeah. So going forward, x2 is equal to 25. If you take x1 as 0, it will be 25. If you take x1 as 25, this will also be 25. Makes sense? In a similar way, the other one, x1 was given, here x2 is given. Yes, makes sense. Now let's come to this one. Now for this equation, if I take x1 as 0, can you tell me what should be the value of x2?
150.
Sorry, come again.
150. 150.
Perfect. If I take x2 value 0, what should be the value of x1?
150. 150.
Make sense? Yes.
Yeah.
Are you getting any doubts?
No.
Perfect. Now you just need two sets of equations. So always follow this practice. Take one value as 0 and the other coordinate, take another value as 0. That makes our job very easy because we know the line, right? In order to put in the graph, it will be very easy to figure out. Yes, unless it is a single small equation like this, x1 is equal to 40, x2 is equal to 25. This is actually nothing. This is a straight line. This is parallel. One will be parallel to x-axis, another will be parallel to y-axis. This is very simple. We'll see in the graph. And similarly, you have this one x1 plus x2. Whenever you will be having equation like this, always take one variable as 0 and calculate the other one, and the other coordinates you take another value as 0 and calculate the first value. That will be making our job very easy. Yes. Let's plot this in the graph. Let's see. This is not plotting correctly. I took a wrong.
I think you can use the pencil, pen or pencil insert. Yeah.
I can do that.
Under home will be there. No, it's okay. You can roughly draw it. We got it out.
Something happened. Okay, fine. I'll figure it out. Not taking it up. I should have done this before because I was not prepared for LPP. No, so otherwise I would have done it already. Not a problem.
No worries.
So yeah.
No problem. You can just put a normal line in Excel only.
Yes.
Yes. You can use the
insert normal lines. Yeah.
Let me
anyhow, sir is not going to see
the anyhow vertical and horizontal you can just use borders, right?
Yes. Okay, I'll just
in Excel only you can do easily, I think.
Now painting and all will be I think easy here. So if I put it like this, no, you can see, right?
Yeah.
So I have a graph here. So this is x1, this is x2. Yeah. Now in this, suppose I put the points here. So I have to see, always look at the points which we have. Why? We have to make sure all the points should be covered. So we have up until 150, right? 150 yes. We have to cover. So let's take 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100.
Take 25.
11,
take 25. 25, 50, 75, 100, 150, 125, 150.
It's okay. I've already taken some out of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yes, last number pointer is 15. So how to point? Let's see. X1 and X2 are 40 and 0. Where should it lie? Can you tell me how to see?
40 and 0, yeah. So here only, and
0
axis
to
only, right?
So this one or this one? Is it this one?
No, horizontal, no?
It should be
X1,
this one, right? Yes.
right?
So the moment it says 40 for X1, no, you go by 1, 2, 3, 4 in the X1 line. Yes. And 0 for X2. So there is nowhere to go. You point this one. And second one is 40 and 100, right? So where is 100 in, 40 in X1? This line, this pointer. Where is 100 in
Okay.
X2? Let's calculate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. So 10 this line and 4 this line. You find that point where those are touching. So this is the point. Make sense? Yes. Now you
Correct,
join.
correct.
Now you join these points.
So this is how the straight line comes.